Let's call the May 19th, 2022 meeting to order. Please rise to salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, roll call vote.
Mr. Cullen?
Here.
Ms. Curran?
Here.
Mr. D'Angelo?
Here.
Ms. Paglione?
Here.
Mr. Poliafico?
Here.
Mr. Parolo?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Mr. Ciccoletti?
Here. All attendants, okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with addendums?
I move.
Mr. D'Angelo,
Second.
Mr. Cullen? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Reports.
Yes.
Dr. Schaefer?
Yes. Grades 3 through 8 have completed their English, their language arts, their math and science PSSAs. The Keystones are continuing right now for middle school and high school. In reference to the comprehensive plan, I've been in touch with Chad Evans. He's the supervisor of educational planning with Bucks County IU regarding the needs assessment component of the plan. I'll be meeting with the district administrators, department chairs, and grade level chairs to initiate the needs assessment component. Dr. Damon Smith is working on the special education plan. I want to congratulate Chris McHugh and Paul Etherington for recently submitting the required reports for the Pennsylvania Department of Education for ESSERS. I was at a conference today for the for superintendents for the county, and the federal government estimates there's 40 million hours worth of reports across the country for this. So the reporting for this is significant, and Chris and Paul are up to date with everything with it. So that's really a plus for the district. Chris and I are meeting with 21st Century to finalize some specifics regarding funding for the ESSERS plan. We're also going to be meeting with Mrs. Rosado and Mr. Nastasi about learning loss with that grant as well. I'd like to thank everyone for their support in assisting students and staff during the loss of one of our students. I'd like to especially thank our support team, Dr. Damon Smith, Ms. Hagan, and Mrs. Anna Rosado. I'd also like to thank the Bucks County IU for sending a grief counseling team to support our high school students and staff. Okay? I would also like to congratulate our high school unified track team, who has qualified to go to Shippensburg for the state track conference. So they'll be going there for several days, which is really a nice accomplishment on the part of our team and coaches. And I'd also like to congratulate our girls softball team for winning the BAL, and next week they go on to play for the districts. So we're doing pretty well. A lot of good things happening.
Good things are happening.
And we did have 2 presentations. One was supposed to be Best of Europe, but as before, most of those girls are on the softball team. So they played tonight. They actually won tonight, right?
Yes, 2-1.
Awesome. 3-1 in 8 innings, so that's why they're not here tonight. So I'm not sure we're going to have them here on a Thursday before the end of the school year. And then our next presentation is going to be from the AOC, and they're going to speak about Jazz in the River and other member states.
Good evening, members of the board and school administration. Very nice to be with all of you today, as well as members of the public. We want to spend a little bit of time today just reviewing some of the great things that the 21st Century Learning Centers are doing, and also talk to you a little bit about Jazz on the River. So I'm going to begin with a quick overview of the programs and projects that 21st Century Learning Centers have been involved in, and the AOC through that organization as well. First of all, the summer camp is coming up. This year, the summer camp will include students from Bristol Borough School District as well as from St. Mark. This year, summer camp eligibility is on a referral basis only because cohort 8 has closed. So the numbers have been reduced a bit. However, St. Mark currently has 43 or more students enrolled in the program, and we expect that Bristol Borough will have the same or some more as well. So it will be a good and active program with a lot of reinforcement of math and English language arts, and as well as some really great activities in art and sports and so forth. So that will be coming up for the summer. And in addition, the high school community garden is well underway. Thanks to Doug Braun and students at the high school, over 1,700 seedlings were planted in the school's garden greenhouse this year. And those seedlings have now germinated and matured, and a large raised garden bed is in the process of being established and planted at the high school. And the garden club also sold a number of their germinated seedlings that they won't be planting in the raised bed, and raised a considerable amount of money, I think well over $500. So that was something that was excellent. And we bought some of those seedlings, and they are doing really well. So that's another great development. In addition, the Microsoft certification program is again going through. The AOC, the school district, Bucks County Community College are collaborating on that, which will give students the Microsoft skills, Microsoft Office skills, which are very, very important in the job market today. The Writer's Voice has had a very successful year. The students participated in the poetry workshop and then took their trip to Silver Bay, did their poetry coffee house, and we're looking forward to the production of their poems for this year. We understand that it went very well as also. And in addition to that, Dr. Schaefer can speak much more clearly and specifically about the Fire Cadet program. And that's a program that has been introduced this year and will become a course next year, right? That the students who are participating in that are going to be working, meeting 3 times a week. I believe there are 31 students who have registered.
Who have applied, but we can only take 20.
Oh, okay, well, but great, you know, and this is an amazing program that has actually developed to be representative as a model for the state. So this is something that we're really looking forward to. It's going forward, and it's going to be excellent. In addition to that, I am going to turn the floor over to Mary Giswaldi, who's going to talk to you a little bit about Jazz on the River.
Okay. Of course, fundraising make all of these programs available to our students. So I'm here to talk to you about Jazz on the River. We are happy to say that after a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, Jazz on the River is back, and we're excited about that. It's going to be happening on Wednesday, June the 22nd, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It will again be held on the King George Inn patio, and they are again graciously hosting this event. Tickets will be $60 per person and can be purchased at the Bristol Borough Tax Office, Great IDs by Ann, and Mignoni Jewelers during normal business hours. Ticket holders will receive 2 drinks limited to beer and wine, and of course a full buffet from the King George Inn menu items. And I know this is unbelievable, but again, 100% of the ticket proceeds will benefit the AOC. The King George does not keep 1 penny from that event. We're grateful again to the King George Inn and we're grateful to anyone who supports this effort, and we hope that you will support our fundraising efforts as we support our students. Thank you for that.
Hey, Deb, I just had a question for you, because I know with the Silver Bay, when they came back and they had scheduled like to kind of meet, and then they canceled it, did they ever do that again or no?
I have not.
Okay,
heard
I
about
thought I might have missed it.
rescheduling, Dr. Schaefer, or-
Nothing's been rescheduled as of yet.
Okay.
We normally do it over the library. The
Right.
library's
Yeah.
closed. And we were going to do it, we had, because we're a loss
Of
here.
course.
So we are going to reschedule it.
Okay, I just didn't want to miss it.
It was.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to it too. so.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gesualdi, and this is fine. Thank you for all that you do. Okay, Dr. Schaefer, you're done. You got who's going to give the comprehensive plan?
So I'll talk about the federal programs, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So I left a sample bag at every station and a sample of what we'll do tomorrow as we welcome in our next kindergarten class. So we are going to be hosting our pre-K students from town and the various pre-K programs for a visit tomorrow. We call that our kindergarten transition day. The students will be able to get a tour of our building. They'll meet some of our current kindergartners. They will obviously get a snack, because you have to have a snack. They'll do an activity with the kindergartners. I'll be able to read a Pete the Cat book that you can see in your bag there. We also included in the bag a couple of summer projects that we hope that the parents will be able to engage in with the children, as well as a kindergarten readiness packet. All different types of activities that will help the students for when they come in on September 7th. So we're excited to host, and I'm expecting maybe 40 to 50 of our incoming kindergarten students tomorrow. So I have the help of Mrs. DiGiuseppe, and this is something we do every year, so we're excited to host them. So you can take a look at what's in the bag that every student who comes tomorrow will receive, and that was purchased through Title I funds. Let's see here, I'm sorry. So we just had a parent meeting in the cafeteria, and I also discussed federal programs, and so we discuss what I just mentioned, and then we talk about Title II funds, which are class size reduction funds, and we've used those monies to add an additional first grade class and keep those numbers small. And it's looking like that's probably what will need to be done for the next school year in order to continue to provide the level of support that some of the students need. But I always accept input from our parent groups. In addition, our Title IV monies are spent on well-rounded education, and I was talking again and asking our parents if they had any additional ideas to add to the fabulous things we already do, which is Outrageous, fund the gifted enrichment program activities, and our positive behavior interventions and support. We hosted a local school district about a week ago. They wanted to come in and look at our teachers teaching our scholastic literacy, which is our core program for K-5 for literacy. And they were quite impressed by the level of engagement, instruction that they saw in the classrooms. And the upper level elementary principal came, and he had said to me that we have a really great culture here. And he said he noticed that just from the interactions that kids have with one another, that the adults have with the children, and that was a great compliment. Let's see. We had our in-service day on Tuesday, and it was a busy day. I worked with grade level chairs to start working on our school-wide Title I plan. So we talked about a lot of strategies that we need in order to meet the needs of our students. Mrs. Simo worked with the PBIS team to review data, and she told me that it looks as though we will again meet the criteria for implementing the plan with fidelity, and will be recognized by the state, as we have been over the last few years. So that's excellent news. And in addition to that, our teachers presented to one another with our book study, which is on structured literacy interventions. And so we tackled 3 chapters, and I can say, and Dr. Schaefer was there as well, the teachers did an amazing job engaging their colleagues, providing examples, letting them really hone in on strategies that are effective at practicing. They did a wonderful job. I couldn't have been prouder of the presentations that they did for one another. And that collaboration is so key for us to move students forward and working together, as we have a wonderful staff, and we need to continue to do that and share like our knowledge with one another. And, so if you didn't notice, you came in pretty quickly from your executive session, but there is a bulletin board, so maybe you can stop by when you leave here tonight, dedicated for our playground vision. As you know, I mentioned in the last meeting, we hope to revamp our playground out back, and the students will be voting on some of the designs. And so right now, it's displayed for them to take a look at, and then they will get a Google form as well as Google Slides for the teachers to show them a little more closely, and they'll be able to vote on the design, and hopefully we'll have some of our students present to you at our next board meeting. So I'm sure you'll be quite impressed. So that's going to be exciting and a welcomed event for us. And then finally, last night we hosted our elementary spring concert. So it was a combination of our elementary bands, our elementary chorus, and some of the high school band members. The children did wonderfully. Mrs. Snyder has done a good job building the program. The band has quite a few members at this point, a lot of drummers. Kids like drums. But they did a great job. She kept it short and sweet. She highlighted each one of the instruments. They played together for a short snippet, and then they played together like an ensemble for a couple of numbers as well. So congratulations to Mrs. Snyder and our children. It was a nice evening. Actually, for the first time, they had it in the courtyard. And I mean, the weather was beautiful out there. The sun had already come down, so there was no sun in your eyes. There was a light breeze to go with the beautiful music. So quite the ambiance last night. Mr. D'Angelo was here, so he could attest to that. Little excitement too. The hawk going for the ducklings in the middle of the concert. But we kept them safe. They're now at a farm. But yeah, so it was a great event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions. These are the kindergarten students that will be coming in September.
Yes.
So how many do we expect?
So I expect about 50 tomorrow. We don't have all the registrations completed until literally the first day of school. And you know, we average around 100 in each class.
So we're halfway there. Okay.
So having half of them come, I had sent out a Google form and invited everybody. We posted it on our social media pages. And so even with some of them that are coming tomorrow, some still need to register, but I'll be able to speak to them personally. I'll have their contact information. I can give them a packet tomorrow and encourage them to register sooner than later. But even if they don't, they still have the activities that we hope that they'll be able to engage with their children.
The second thing, the playground.
Yes.
That will be done this summer?
As quickly, I don't know about demand for playground equipment and how quickly that,
We've approved the funds, am I correct? We approved the funds? We did.
oh, sky's the limit then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You didn't hear the number.
That's a blank check, you said, right?
Maybe they deserve it.
I think they do deserve
They
it, and
deserve it.
I'm curious to see what design they pick, and I know they're going to be super excited just to be involved, and it should be they who choose
Okay, so
our children.
let them decide, but we decided that the base is going to be rubber?
Yes, that rubber
Not-
mulch.
Not mulch.
Not rubber, I think they
Not
call it the
tires.
rubber mulch surface,
It's
not
a-
mulch like chips or anything,
No,
Is
it's
it gonna-
rubber.
Yeah,
rubber.
there's a picture of it out there, right, on the,
There is?
yeah,
Okay.
on the
Rubber.
board.
And then the third thing is the other school district that came here, they were looking into the program that we have.
Our new program that we began implementation at the beginning of this school, Scholastic Literacy for K to 5, yes.
So our little school district was visited by someone that had an interest in us, so great job.
Yeah,
Good.
they were
And
impressed.
that program is working. I think it's working.
I think the implementation of a new program and before you get very comfortable with it is difficult, but we've been provided with a lot of support from the Scholastic Literacy team. They've been here to do professional development, helped in planning. The teachers are collaborating. The students have received the authentic text
Good.
so wonderfully. Like I think Ms. Fine and Ms. Jeswaldi, who have been working our book fair this week, our BOGO book fair. The kids are excited. They're excited about books. They're excited about reading. So I think this program has helped that along, as it's a new interest and it meets the kids' interest more with the variety that they have.
Great.
So-
So we'll have an idea. They'll come and present what they're asking for the playground, and maybe we could have some of that stuff installed this summer,
I hope-
according to product availability.
I hope, and one of our parents does this kind of work, and she just committed that her team would volunteer to kind of look at the layout and what makes sense, traffic patterns within the playground itself. So for example, what's the best place for the swings, so that someone doesn't get,
Yeah.
clocked, like doing the, remember that, the bob and weave I used to do at like, that fitness place up by
They
the
only
mall?
had
Bailey's, bob
We
and
only
weave.
had swings when I was growing
Oh,
up.
so anyway, for the safety
was
of the
it.
children, that the layout of the actual space and what that should look like, and she volunteered and her team volunteered to do that for
All right,
us.
so we'll have a presentation next meeting. Thank you. Great job.
Can I ask
Go ahead.
one question? About 2 weeks ago over here, it was Dawn. They had all the parents over. It was like a learning night.
Yes, so, I may have mentioned that last time, but in the month of May, it's called May Madness, and it is a
Yes.
combination of our math and literacy nights. Mr. Luca has planned, you see the animals on the wall, that's residual from a couple years ago, but they'll stay. I like having those friends here. So it's May Madness this year, and we combined math and literacy night, and we did K and 1. Mr. Cullen was at the last one on the 10th for 2nd and 3rd grade, and we'll do our 5th and 6th grade next Tuesday on the 27th, I think that's, no, 24th, excuse me, the 24th. It's always a well-attended evening. Parents come with the children get a T-shirt, they get a snack, and then they engage in math and literacy activities. The teachers all volunteered to do that, and so they were here presenting. It's a fun night.
Right, and I would only ask because this, and I usually try to share, and I did see that, and I shared it, but please ask the teachers that are kind of running it to put something on our page, and I will agree with you, it was very well attended, as was the concert last night, was very well attended, and so that's a good thing. So just please, and the reason why I'm complaining is because I realized that we had our baseball game for Jean and also for Gabby, and I really didn't get a date on it, and then I saw that they had it, and it had to get canceled, I know. But that's something else that we really could have promoted better, and we will next year. But please, try to get that stuff out.
I will, and I'll do another post. I feel like the Facebook communications page for the district is a successful way at engaging parents, as well as our Snyder Girardi PTA page. And I often use the One Call Now, and not necessarily to do the robocall, but a lot of text and emails, because parents can see the text very easily, and that has been successful. So I will utilize those means as well, because they're used to getting them. Just like today, you probably received one because we distributed
Yes.
another,
Yes.
how many thousand pounds of food this afternoon. And on that subject, if I would thank Mrs. Tyrell, who runs our service learning group on Thursday afternoons. They do volunteer their time, the children. They help box up food for our families. They take them to the car. They stay here till 4:30, 5 o'clock every other Thursday, as well as Mr. Tyrell and Mrs. Tyrell. So couldn't really do it without their support. And the children really enjoy what they're giving back, that service. Love it. There's a lot of them, too.
My only other question was, so as we get the new incoming kindergarten class, and I know you're collecting data, but one of the things that would be interesting, because, we have the pre-K, and we have the Head Start, right? We have the pre-K counts, Head Start. It would be just nice to start to get some data on how many of those kids, I know not all of them will come, but to see how many of the kids that are in that, that had those programs, as they come into our kindergarten, and then as they progress, I don't want to violate anybody's privacy, but the way that we get that money to fund pre-K and Head Start is showing the federal government that we're filling the seats. And it would just be interesting to see after a while, like a longitudinal, well, maybe when they graduate, which ones, how they did, and I think you'd be able to demonstrate that it works. And that would mean more money for those programs. So if you could, find a way to see which, just even ask, and just fill in a column. How many went over at the art pre-Cal?
So when they sign in tomorrow, it's indicated on there what program they attend.
great.
So we will have that information.
You're already ahead of me.
I've
Thank
been
you,
around the
Kelly.
block once or
Okay.
twice, too.
Next, what do we have? Public participation. Okay, anyone from the public? Anyone from the public like to comment? Okay, with no one from the public to comment on agenda items, let's go into routine monthly business.
Okay, Mr. President, I motion that we approve the minutes of April 7th and April 21st, 2022. Also approve the list of bills for May 2022, and also approve the treasurer's report for April 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen? Okay. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Okay, item A under new business.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve to appoint John Stiltner as a board member for the remainder of the term that was vacated by Mr. Popolowski.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen, okay, just a quick comment. We had four very qualified residents send in resumes for that position. We thank them for their interest. And with that said, let's go into we need a roll call vote on this, Madam Secretary. So Mr. Cullen, second that, okay.
Mr. Cullen?
Yes.
Ms. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. D'Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Paglione?
Yes.
Mr. Poliafico?
Yes.
Mr. Parolo?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Chicoletti?
Yes. Mr. Stiltner, you're here tonight, so let's swear Mr. Stiltner in. Madam Secretary, could you do that? Mr. Stiltner? John, we'll do it right over here.
You really growed up, didn't you? He's got the key, right?
I, John Stiltner, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Duties of my with fidelity.
I'll take them all down. That was just
Thank you.
Sit down.
You're frail today.
some you or something. I forgot.
Yes, no problem.
Congratulations.
I don't like it.
There you go, stub your name, play up there, and stub it.
I did it.
Get anything else? Yeah, stub.
Okay, item B. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the attached list of 2022 Bristol High School expected graduates upon successful completion of the academic requirements.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen. Questions?
What is the number? It's around 80?
78.
78?
Wow.
Okay?
All right,
78 graduates?
78 possible graduates. Hopeful. Okay, any questions? Any more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries. Item C.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the lawsuit settlement of special education student A.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item D.
Mr. President, I motion we approve the lawsuit settlement of special education student B.
Any questions?
Need a second.
Second. sorry. Second by Mr. Collins, sorry. Questions? None. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item
Item E, let me get a drink of water first. Mr. President, I approve, motion that we approve Reynolds Energy Services Incorporated doing business as SiteLogic IQ Energy Services, Inc., as a selected energy service company to develop a project for select HVAC upgrades and other upgrades as directed to be funded in whole or part by ESSER funding and execute an investment-grade audit agreement subject to review by the administration and the district solicitor. The investment-grade audit agreement outlines the process for study, design, and pricing, and has a provision for no payment obligation if a project is not approved for construction.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins, questions? Okay, I just have a comment. This, the Reynolds Energy Services is going to be looking into our air conditioning boiler and generator hookup. So they'll be out to assess what needs to be done to facilitate those projects and see, hopefully, if we could get some of those projects done over the summer or at the latest, beginning in the fall. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item F, Mr. Trudeau.
Yes, I'd like to break item F into two items, F1 and F2, and I'll make sure I confirm this with Mr. McHugh. The reason why F is listed here for advertising for acceptance of bids for window replacement is that there were bids recently received, and apparently they were not acceptable in many respects for purposes of the project going forward, hence the advertisement again for window replacement. So my suggestion is that F1 would be reject all bids recently received for the window replacement services project at Bristol Junior Senior High School, followed by F2, which would be the same as the F that you see here.
You got it. All right. So, Mr. President, I motion that we reject all bids received for the window replacement project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Polyafco. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries.
Okay,
F2.
I have motion that we approve to advertise for the acceptance of bids for the window replacement services for the Bristol Junior Senior High School.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Polyafco. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Personnel, item under 7.
Okay, Mr. President, I motion we approve the resignation due to retirement of Joanne Kane, paraprofessional, effective July 1, 2022. Joanne has worked for the school district for 24 years.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item B.
Mr. President, I motion we approve to advertise for a paraprofessional position, salary and benefits as per negotiated agreement, effective for the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries. Item number C.
Item C, Mr. President, I motion we approve to hire Michael Poplawski as lead teacher, salary and benefits as per master agreement, Masters 30, Step 6, effective the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item number D.
Mr. President, I motion we approve the sabbatical for Yvonne Gatelli, effective the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries. Item E.
Mr. President, I motion to approve to advertise for a long-term substitute position certified in pre-K through 4 and/or 4 through 8, salary and benefits as per the master agreement, effective the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item F.
Mr. President, I motion to approve to create a special education speech and language impaired pre-K through 12 position.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item G.
Mr. President, I motion to approve to advertise for a special education speech and language impaired pre-K through 12 teacher effective the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item H.
Mr. President, I motion to approve the attached memo of understanding between the Bristol Borough Educational Support Professional Association and the Bristol Borough School District.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item I.
Mr. President, I motion we approve the attached job description for school security guard.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries.
Mr.
Anyone else?
President, motion to approve to advertise for the position of school security guard.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Item K, Mr. DeAngelo.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve to advertise for the 2022-2023 supplemental positions as per the negotiated master agreement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. DeAngelo, for reading all of this. Take a drink. Information and discussion. Our next board meeting will be June the 2nd, 2022. Let's go around the horn here. Mr. Smith.
I'd just like to congratulate the unified track team and the girls softball team for their season. And wish the unified track team good luck. on their,
Isn't there something else
state.
you want to tell us?
I don't know what.
The library?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Wow.
ooh.
I'm getting confused for work. I thought that was my boss sitting there. We're looking into improving the library and, well, not improving it, restructuring it to, I call it the center of the arts, and where students will have a place to go in the high school, and they'll be able to do some studying in there. They'll have computer lab in there. There'll be a conference room. They can go off their own. And then there's this another section where there'll be a teacher that will be in there making sure and monitoring everyone in there. We took, Mr. Schaefer and I took a tour of Bishop Egan High School where they have already implemented this, and then gave us some ideas of what we would like to do for Bristol High. And we got some really good ideas out of it. So we're going to start moving forward. But we'd also like the kids themselves, their input of what they're looking for, what they would like to see in there. And also at the same time, Mr. Schaefer would also like to utilize it for having teachers conference with you. And it's big enough, and it will be room, and everybody will be able to sit. The ideas that we're coming up with is really going to be sharp, and I really believe the kids are going to look forward to it. It gives them a place to make them realize they mean something, and not just going into a school building to sit in front of a teacher all day. This will be a place for them. So, stay tuned. And thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Curran.
I would like to thank Kelly and the teachers for continuing the food distribution program and the Tyrells. I know that I'm very excited to see that it's continuing to be successful and giving to the community. I'd also like to thank the AOC for all their continuous programming. Very excited for Jazz on the River and hearing about their future programs as well. And of course, congratulations to the softball team. I played softball throughout high school, and getting to this point is very exciting, and I know we have a very good softball program, and I wish them the best as they continue to go through.
And you were very instrumental in helping us get that food, correct?
Yeah, so it means
I'm
a
gonna
lot
mention
to me
You
that
didn't
it's
mention that, but I'll
very
mention that,
successful.
so. And it's
Thank
all
you.
fresh vegetables. I mean, really, wish I could grow that in my garden. Mr. Collins?
Yes. I just want to let you know, I already have my tickets for Jazz on the River. I already have them. I just got them already. Yeah, I have one thing. We had a meeting yesterday with the Recreation Board, and with Brian Johnson is going to run, we're going to have what we call like a fun day on June the 13th, right? Okay, so that day, the students are going to be dismissed at
11:30.
11:30, so we figured maybe about 12:30, we would start this fun day. Brian Johnson and Mike Pawlowski, they're going to coordinate to get like water slides and like a football throwing thing, a couple dunk tanks, hot dogs, hamburgers, and we're gonna have it on the field back here behind the corner of Buckley and Beaver Street. So they're putting all that together and try to have it, like just a nice fun day for all the elementary students here at the school. And we have a lot of volunteers. The Recreation Board, I mean, Al's on it, Mr. D'Angelo's on it, from the, who was on it? Oh, we're missing somebody?
We're missing Mr. Pawlowski.
Mr. Pawlowski's on it. I knew there was. So I think it's a nice thing. It's it's going to be the borough's going to fund most of the money for it, for the rides and the food and stuff like that. So we just probably need a little cooperation with the school with I don't know about like grills and stuff like that. But they're organizing it all. So I'm just letting everybody know that that's what we're going to do on the 13th. Weather permitting. And that's all I have. But I'd like to congratulate Mr. Steltner for being on the board also.
There's going to be a dunk tank, I heard.
Yeah,
I heard there's a couple of volunteers.
Yeah, I heard you were one of them.
Already.
Al's in.
Mr. Parola was
Al's
one.
in.
No,
No, you're out?
it won't fit me.
Mr. Collins one. I think we're going to have a couple of people volunteer.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Parola.
I heard Mr. Zato's one. The dunk tank, she already volunteered.
She was the first one?
She did.
Okay.
She already volunteered.
Mr. Parola?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the unified track team and the softball team. They did a great job. And, hopefully they keep going. And the library will be getting done. And we also have the art room. We're going to have a state-of-the-art art room this year getting done. And there's a lot of other projects that are getting done. We're going to be getting new fence. The playground will be getting done. We got windows going in. We're going to hopefully have the whole high school air conditioned. So there's a lot of going on. So hopefully all these projects will get done. I can guarantee that. So, and I'd like to thank Mr. Stiltner for being here and for being on the board. So that's really all I have right now, and I'm not getting in the dunk tank.
Okay.
I'll let that be known right now.
Mr. Steltner?
First, I would like to thank the board for appointing me. I graduated here in 1991, lifelong resident. I drop my kid off every morning to school. 2 or 3 days a week, I pick him up. He's very excited. I'm very happy about the playground, because every time I pick him up, he's running to the playground. And he gets a chance to go one time around, and that's it. So he's probably very happy to get that completed. And then also, I just looking for the opportunity to work with you all, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Steltner. Mr. Palaevka?
Welcome, John Stiltner, to the board. I'd like to just thank Kelly for everything she does with the groceries and the things that are dropped off here and distributing them. And Tom, appreciate all your help there too, and everybody else. I talked about the tech school a while back. We never really got a chance to discuss it. I was wondering if we're going to have to put that on the agenda.
Let me interject here. The director's coming to the next meeting to discuss everything.
Okay.
Any questions you have, I'm sorry, Jeffrey.
Okay. I mean, I want to make sure the board is aware of what we intend. I know Brianna wasn't here and John's here.
Yeah, update, what was it about?
I was thinking that it's about time that we have the selection process. John, I want to possibly add some more numbers to that. I think currently, Chris, we 14,
Usually 15 a class.
15 a class. So that ninth grade class going in would be extended to maybe, whatever the board, if they want to talk, we'll talk about it. But it hasn't been done in a while. So I think that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of interest in the tech school now. Give some other kids, more kids, more of an opportunity to go. And I noticed the scoreboards. I know it's borough property, but I'm sure that if we work with them, get that scoreboard up the softball field fixed. And the one at the track where the girls play hockey, I think that thing's had light bulbs on for about 7 years. Just a couple of light bulbs that stay on all the time. So that's not operating correctly. So if we could get those things checked out, I mean, it would help, and maybe get the rec board along with the borough council board and do something with that one up there. I think I heard Ralph wants to spend some money for the up at the fields and things, so that could be included, I guess. And then just to talk about the grounds up here, if we can get maybe some engineers. I know you guys just said you're going to put some playground stuff up there to do your fun day.
Yeah.
Did you walk the ground at all? You got it mapped out pretty good?
No, well, that was a place they recommended that we might use. I mean, they're not going to be like, I guess, running or whatever.
I'm just, but I was, in the future, I'd like to see us get together with, or even get our engineers to see what can be done up there and what the board actually wants to use it for.
Right, Deb, and we know there's a problem. That ground is pretty bad there, but the front end is not a bad area up there by Beaver and Buckley Street, that
Right.
corner.
Yeah, there's a couple sections that are small enough where you could do something where it's flat enough.
Right.
But I don't want to hold up this meeting now. So I don't know if this stuff has to be put on the agenda for discussion, or we're just going to do it in public next time. That's it for me.
So, Dr. Schaefer, just to reiterate, Dr. Paskey's going to be here?
Dr. Pace's coming to the next board meeting. Yes.
Okay, so, and then he's going to explain the whole process.
He can explain the process.
The whole process, and then we could talk to him about adding seats or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be good, because there's always a lot of questions as to how what the process is there. And I'm not too sure of it myself, so it'll be a learning experience.
It's not so much, I understand the process on how the people are selected and things like that. That's not the real, it is an issue for some people, my number was this and that. I think if we could just add some, it would help add some more numbers. That's good, thank you.
Mary Jane, Mrs. Paglione.
Yes, I just want to congratulate Mr. Stiltner on becoming our new board member. Thank you.
That's it? Dr. Schaefer, you going to the dunk tank?
We'll see.
Okay.
I do want to say one thing, though, in reference to the school that visited here that day at the elementary school to see our reading program. It was just ironic that afternoon I had a meeting in that district with the superintendent and the assistant superintendent, and to hear them rave over our program and the quality of instruction they saw here with our students and how well our students were engaged in learning. I'll tell you what, I was very, very proud of Bristol Borough, and I think everybody here is extremely proud of our teachers and our elementary school what went on. So it's really very impressive.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. Mr. D'Angelo.
Just a couple things. So the unified track team will be going next Thursday as the representative to the Pennsylvania PIAA state championships. Actually, last year, they finished in a tie to go, and I believe they had to flip a coin, and the other team went. So it really says a lot about this group of kids that didn't get discouraged, right? They came back, and I was actually at William Tennant when they won, and it was really a great event. Lots of mostly all bigger schools, but so I really give these kids a lot of credit. And I spoke to Dr. Schaefer, and possibly, and we'll let you know, that when they leave on Thursday, maybe we'll have a little something for them at the high school to wish them well, because they're going to be gone until Saturday. Kelly, I saw something that was on our Facebook page about this week. There's going to be, the kids are going to wear shirts for Mrs. Catelli, or?
So, we have done the Kids Walk, which is a fundraiser for cancer, the American Cancer Society, for multiple years. Mrs. Gatelli usually heads that with a few other staff members. This year, in her absence right now, Mr. Crossan designed the T-shirts, Ms. Saxton designed the events for next week, where there's a theme for each day. I think 350 shirts were sold, so we'll all be wearing them. The actual event is on the 27th. The PTA and some of our members are also here, are providing bottled water for the students during the walk, as well as organizing an ice cream truck so that the kids can buy coupons to get an ice cream while they're out there too. So.
And where's the walk going to be?
The walk we do along Pond Street, in a circle, or in the path, and the walkway on our school grounds. Kind of circle like that, and then kids will sit around the wall.
And it's
The fountain area.
Just for the kids? It's something to the public or just the kids?
Oh, it's our kids.
Okay.
Some parents will show up.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the
No, it's a
classes,
good
the
thing.
teachers take them out as classes.
Yeah, and it's a nice thing right before the holiday, right? So it's this coming, the 27th.
27th.
Okay.
All day.
There was one more thing that I had. Oh, okay. So I just wanted to, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I saw that our longtime music teacher, Mr. Bachman, that his wife had passed away. And it was kind of ironic because I found out, and then I came over here and I saw the kind of renaissance of the marching band, the stage band, just the music program in general. And I kind of thought about Mrs. Bachman, that, you know what they say, behind every successful man, there's a woman. And so I just would like you to keep her daughters in your prayers. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. D'Angelo. Mr. Trullo.
Yes, briefly, we had an executive session tonight from 6 to 7 before this meeting started. All board members present were at the executive session, along with Dr. Schaefer, Mr. McHugh, and myself. Several items were discussed involving personnel, contracts, collective bargaining, informational items, real estate, and litigation. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trullo. Okay, I'd like to also congratulate the softball team and the unified track. And I know that Mr. Parolo mentioned about the library being renovated, but we also are in the process of reviewing the music program. As a matter of fact, the two individuals who are very qualified are here. They were here for 2 days, and they're going to be here for 2 more.
4 days, yes.
And it was not by planning, but they were here for the concert last night. So they got to see how things are run here, and they will give the board a written report. That was something that we had suggested a few months back. So just to give you an update on that. So the music program is getting evaluated. The art room is getting renovated. So we're doing things here to get things moving. Madam Secretary, Chris, make sure that Mr. Stiltner gets a copy of the budget, the committees, all of that stuff with everything necessary. Replace Mr. Poplowski's name with Mr. Stiltner's name. He'll go on those committees. Okay, thank you. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Do it at the meeting.
You second? Meeting adjourned.